Hi there. I'm Eric with TogetherLearning.com, and this is a part of the New Media Marketing series in our Together Learning Center materials. And today, we'd like to talk about the marketing mix, sometimes known as the 4 Ps of marketing. So let's get started. The marketing mix, sometimes known as the 4 Ps of marketing. There are also sometimes 7 Ps, maybe more, but in its most basic form, just 4 Ps, is just plainly a set of tools, some ideas, some categories for which marketers or people wishing to sell products, to market products, to use to obtain or pursue your marketing objectives. So, right, there are things that we can use to help us understand where we stand in the marketplace and how to position ourselves in many different ways in these 4 Ps, these 4 categories, to understand our mix, our marketing mix. So, what are those 4 Ps? It is a mixture, of course, of these 4 Ps put together. It is a mixture of product, price, excuse me, promotion, and place. And if you're looking at mixing these together for a particular target, particular type of consumer, a group of possible buyers, you need the right place, the right product, the right promotion. You need all these things in the right mix to best attract, to best appeal to your target market. So again, our 4 Ps in the marketing mix are product, price, place, and promotion. Let's go through these one by one. Now, let's think about the product. Most simply, it is the item, and not necessarily a physical item. It could be just an idea. An item that satisfies the consumer's needs or wants. It's what the buyer, the consumer, wants, what they think they want, what they think they need, right? Not necessarily what you want to sell them. It's what they want, your target market, what they need or they want. And these can be tangible goods or intangible goods or services or even an idea. You could sell an idea or an experience. We're moving into the experience economy and the information economy we're already in. So it doesn't have to be a physical thing from which you sell or the customer wants. It could be a service, an idea, or an experience that the customer wants as well. And some of the ideas or design decisions that we have to make when thinking about this P, product, is the design and the features of the product, right? What is going to go into making this product? What does it have? What features does it provide? The assortment of it, the range, the mix, the product lines, right? Many different products have different varieties, different variations from which to sell from. Like maybe Coke is a good example. You have regular Coke, you have Coke Zero, we have Diet Coke in the States. There are many different types of Coke. They're all particularly designed to go after a particular type of buyer, type of consumer. Branding is very important. It's not just the service or the idea or the experience, it's the image from which that product has in the consumer's mind, and that is the brand. Your packaging and labeling, right? This is part of the messaging, and it connects to another P, which we'll talk to in just a minute. The services that are attached to it, the warranties, the returns, and the life cycle of the product are also things you think about. when related to this P, product, right? Sometimes you'll need to offer repair services or guarantee the use of an item for an amount of time. Maybe um, if you're selling a computer, perhaps you need to maybe guarantee the use and support of the use of that computer for a year, 2 years, 3 years, what have you. So these are all ideas that go into the product. And again, this is something that the consumer wants: the thing, the idea, the experience, the product. Let's talk about some examples, perhaps. We're going to talk about these here, these pictures as different examples of products, right? So you can think of these in different ways, and it helps us think about what product is, right? Product can be a thing, right? Like a cheeseburger or a car or a computer or some tools or some print designs, somebody's idea, right? Somebody's idea. But it can also be intangible things that the consumer wants to buy. So it could be a fancy restaurant experience that has these very delicate burgers, and you get shown or get served this burger in a particular way that has an experience attached to it. Maybe that's what the consumer really wants, not necessarily the burger itself, or a mix of the two, of course. It could be a car, or talking about tools, the repair of a car, a service involved with it. Or then talking about an idea or a product that's not tangible, we need lots of software that goes into our computer, and sometimes it's on a license. We just want the ability to use the software in a different way or to resell it. That's also considered a product. And we had the design, right? The product of a cool print or the service of making some cool graphic design. But this could be printed on a ticket, and it's not necessarily the ticket that we're buying. The ticket gives us access to an experience. It could be a baseball game, could be entrance into a theme park, or what have you. That experience is what the customer wants, not necessarily the ticket, of course. So these are all examples of products, the first P in the marketing mix. Right, let's go on to the next P, which is price. So the price is probably the most understandable thing. It is the amount that the customer is willing to pay for the product. Maybe it's expensive, maybe it's very cheap, maybe it fits into a good category for being high quality but cheap, right? You're always, the mix and how it fits into the marketplace is very important. But it's not necessarily just money all the time that you have to consider with this P of the marketing mix. Price is not just money that consumers pay. It is also the time and the effort that customers or buyers are willing to do in order to get your product or service or idea. One other example of this is the iPhone, right? Of course, it's very expensive. People are willing to pay lots of money to get the iPhone, but customers are sometimes willing to wait in line day, maybe a couple hours, just to be able to get the latest iPhone or to service. This has been a problem with Apple in recent years. They have to wait a long time when their iPhone gets broken. Now, people are willing to wait just so they can get access to the service of fixing their phone. So some decisions that go along with this category, the price category in the marketing mix, is the strategy, the tactics, the price setting, and sometimes you can give discounts for groups of people. For example, AU gives discounts. AU is a telecommunications company that does smartphone services in Japan. They give big discounts to students in universities. You can have allowances for distributors, so people that want to resell your product, you give them the discount on the products from which they can upsell and they can do the marketing on their own. And how you will arrange payment is also very important. Some customers want to pay by credit cards and by cash or other. This is connected to the time and effort, right? The customers need to make effort to give you what you need or give you the money or the currency for their products and services. So that is price. Let's talk about this in the context of our other examples, right? So we talked about the burger before, right? Some people just want a burger and they want it quick and they want it cheap. Therefore, if you're targeting that type of mentality, what's what the customer wants, like someone using McDonald's or another fast food burger, you want the price very cheap and very convenient, easy to buy. So you have to have a lot of locations because not only are people not willing to pay a high price for this burger, they want it quick and they want it on the go, but they're not willing to travel long distances to get it. They're not willing to wait in line a long time to get it. The convenience needs to go down for this particular product. But let's say you have a very delicious, high quality burger that is very rare, maybe some Kobe beef and some very new types of cheese, and also you have a very elegant, very exciting service restaurant atmosphere to go along with it. In this case, it might be very possible to raise the price of the burger from a McDonald's, for example, a 500 yen to 2,000 yen in that type of setting, or even more, depending on what your customer is, what your target is on that. Right. Let's go back to the P's, and the next P is place. Now, place is easy to understand because it's a physical, usually when you think of it, it's a physical location, right? A store is the first thing many people think of when they think of place, right? The place where you go and buy what the customer wants, or the place where you can sell or give information about your product. But really, it's just about providing access, providing the customer access to your product or service or idea, right? We all know now that many times people will buy things on the internet. So the place can be the platform on the internet or the website or the domain name from which you sell your product online, not just in the store. So going back to McDonald's case, they have things online from which now you can order things and have it delivered using different services. Usually in Japan, we have McDonald's delivery, or we also have things like Uber Eats, where you get it delivered to your house as well. But the place, sometimes physical, sometimes on the internet, but it's just about the access, the way that you get your product to the consumer as well. It could be a conveyance as well. And it provides convenience for the consumer. And some of the design decisions that we make for this P in the marketing mix are the strategies involved in distribution. Distribution meaning the time it takes for you to, when it gets made in your office, and how it gets spread out into the world, maybe from intermediaries between it who sell it to big distributors to small distributors, and then ultimately in individual consumers' hands or pockets. So you can intensify that in one place, maybe only sell it to one type of distributor, or try to get it in the hands of many people as possible. There's many different ways to go about that. You can localize it to different areas. You can do this usually by um, franchising, or just simply creating different promotional strategies for each location, right? So you might decide you want stores in Japan, but only online access in other countries, or um, when it comes to traveling long distances, you offer internet, but if you're in the city, you can go to the stores. Use some mix of the two. Franchising is where you offer your brand and your products or services for resale, and someone resells them under your company branding. And that can be a good strategy, providing access to, allowing other people to write it for you. Right. Let's go back to our examples here. Um, we can look at the um, licensing model of cars, particularly the brand Tesla, which is a popular electronic car, all electric car, which is sold in the Americas. Um, you cannot purchase it from a retailer. Many times when you want to buy a car, you'll go to a car dealership, and that car dealer buys lots of cars from makers like Nissan or Toyota or Subaru, and they resell them. Tesla's model is completely different. What they choose to provide is sometimes, very rarely, but very few places where you can go and look at a Tesla. But the place where you buy a Tesla is online only. And you can very rarely go and purchase a Tesla and drive home with it. You have to be put on a waiting list. They'll make it for you, and eventually you get your car. This is a very different place, a very different setting, very different access route to buying cars than we are traditionally used to. It's a very good new model, a different model when thinking about place, this P in the marketing mix. All right, the last P is promotion. Promotion, and this logo looks like a video. And basically, it is how you communicate your product to consumers, to the people that should need something or might want something or might think they need it in your target demographic, your target market, right? It's the way you persuade, appeal, and show the reasons why your product or service fits your consumers' needs. It's your way to show people why they should buy your product. And many times, this can be one of the most important aspects, the most important P in the marketing mix, because you can have the right price or the right place to have your product sold, and you can have the most amazing product, but if nobody really knows about it, you may very well fail in marketing your product. So you can use different ways to go about this. PR, direct marketing, you can do advertising on the internet, put ads in magazines. There are many, many different ways from which you can try to communicate your product to consumers. And just like there's a marketing mix of 4, sometimes 7 or more P's, there's a promotional mix as well, right? You balance advertising with direct sales, or you try to have some other educational methods to get your product into the hands or the information into the minds of your consumers. So a lot of times this is connected to the brand. You want to not just, in many cases, not just promote your product, but promote an image around your product. Many luxury brands do this. Diamond sellers, luxury hotels, right? They don't just communicate that they have the cleanest beds or the biggest rooms. They promote an image of high class and fancy life and luxurious lifestyles popping champagne and wearing nice clothes. This is all about the communication of the visual communication, the feeling, the image that they're trying to market to you in this message, in this P of promotion. Going back to our examples, different companies promote and sell their products in many ways. And what I come back to many time and time again is computers and Apple. Apple has been very good at promoting an image about the way that their products are marketed and communicated to consumers. They promote their products not as a computer or a cell phone that can do things, the features about it. They give the image of convenience, forward thinking, tools to help you shape your life and world, right? These are big ideas, big concepts that anybody can attach themselves, latch on to. And Apple has been a very good example of marketing computers to make it seem like they're not just computers. They've been very good at their messaging, their branding, and their marketing communications. Right. That's been an introduction to the marketing mix: product, price, place, promotion. Perhaps in our next video, we'll go into the extended marketing mix, where there are 7, perhaps more P's that you can think of to help understand the categories involved in marketing products. This has been Eric for Together Learning. Thanks. Bye-bye.